Okay, for my topic, letter D, indigenous customs and rituals. So the term indigenous was derived from the Latin word indigena, which means the native. So it comes from the Latin word guys, and which means it is a native. So yung mga indigenous people. So it was formed by combining the old Latin term Indo, which means in or within, and is most often used to describe the native inhabitants of the place. So the English dictionary defines it as naturally existing in a place or country rather than arriving from another place. This term was first used in 1646. So take note. So customs, on the other hand, is defined as a traditional and widely accepted way of behaving or doing something that is specific to a particular society, place, or time, while ritual refers to a religious service or other ceremony which involves a series of actions performed in a fixed order such as baptism. So yung costume is yung mga kasuotan. And while the ritual is yung mga piniperform na ng mga indigenous people. So yun na yung tawag sa mga rituals. Okay. Despite the Philippines being colonized for almost 400 years by Western power. So, sinakop tayo. Almost 400 years. Sinakop tayo ng mga Espanyol, mga Amerikano, yung mga dayuhan na sumakop sa atin. So, the indigenous customs and rituals of our people survive among our indigenous peoples living in the hills of Luzon, Mindoro, Palawan, and Mindanao. So, sila lang lamang yung mga indigenous people na survive nung mga kapanahunan ng mga sinasakop tayo ng mga dayuhan. So they have developed their cultures and their unique ways of life, a part of Filipino heritage which the colonizers failed to extinguish. So na-failed yung mga colonizers na sakupin pati yung mga taong yan, yung mga taong mga indigenous peoples na yan. Yung mga natira na mga yan. So reverence for the land and oral traditions are emphasized in the customs and rituals of our indigenous people. Like the 6 ethno-linguistic people in the mountain province popularity known as Igorots. So yung mga 6 na mga Igorots na nakatira sa mountain province. So these people are composed of 6 tribes. So 6 na mga tribo. So generally found in the 4 provinces, a result of the subdivision of Mountain Province in 1966. Okay, so the first, for the 6 ethno-linguistic peoples popularly known as Igorots, was the Ibaloi tribes. So kung makikita natin, yung Ibaloi tribes is yung up at saka yung down niya is similarity lamang o sa atin pa is terno. May terno. So parihong-pariho yung nasa up at yung nasa baba. Same colors and same design. So kung makikita natin, yung sinuot ni Lola at mayroon pang nakapatong dun sa ulo niya. And then dito naman sa left side, right side is yung mga bata, yung may parang puti na parang panyo na linagay sa ulo nila. So, for the left side is yung si Nana is nakadala pa nung parang basket dun sa kanyang linagay pa sa kanyang ulo. Nakita kasi natin yan eh. Meron pa kasi sa atin yan ngayon. Oo, meron pa sa atin yan. Kahit ngayon, meron pang gumagamit ng ganyan yung parang basket na nakapatong dito sa ulo mo. Yung, para kasi yung strength mo is dito nanggagaling sa uluhan mo para kahit gaano siya kabigat is madadala mo yon. For the number 2 is the Kanay tribes. So kung makikita natin dito sa left side is parang gumagawa na sila ng rituals dito kasi kung makikita natin napakarami sila para nagsiselebrate sila. Then Yung dito naman sa right side is gumawa sila mismo ng circle. At mayroon silang mga dalang mga kagamitan na pinatong nila sa kanilang mga uluhan. Then kung makikita natin is yung mga boys dito is para lamang nakabahag. Then while the girls nakasuot ng puti sa up, then yung baba nila is parang malong na ginanon. Kung makikita natin yung malong na kanang gikuan gud yung malong kanang gigamay-gamay ba para lang masuot diri sa atuang kilid, or murag kanang direct na jud na siya nga masuot, something like that if I'm not mistaken guys ha. And for the number 3 was the Ifugao tribes. So kung makikita natin yung Ifugao tribes is yung dito sa left side is 5 sila. Yung lalaki pa rin is walang kasuotan. Ang tanging ginagamit lamang is yung bahag, and yung sa girls naman is parang yung kanina lamang. So parang may pagka-similarity talaga sa kanila kung makikita natin. At nakapaa lamang sila, wala silang suot na tsinelas. Yung dalawang matanda, din yung tatlo is nakasuot na ng tsinelas kasi parang binigyan na ito sila. Then yung sa ulo nila is meron nakalagay na parang balahibo ng manok. Then yung meron silang mga dalang sibat, yung sibat na parang ito yung kumukuha sila ng pagkain, is yun yung ginagamit nila. Then okay, number 4 was the Kalinga tribes. So kung makikita natin is yung Kalinga tribes is dito sa left side na picture is meron siyang mga mga tato, yung mga boys din walang kasuotan na kahit man lang basta yung nakalagay lang is mga tato lang sa part ng katawan nila. Then yung dito mayroon silang mga purong na kulay red or kulay gray, and then yung mga babae nila is nakasuot lamang ng parang meron ding mga tato. Then mayroon din silang parang mga malong guys. And mayroon din silang mga dalang mga sibat, at saka yung parang shield yung dito sa kabila. At saka mayroon din silang mga dalang mga itak. Yun yung parang ginagamit nila kapag nangunguha sila ng mga kanilang makakain. And dito naman sa right side is yung mga tao dito is nakasuot talaga nung parang maraming mga accessories yung mga sa babae nila. Karaming mga parang kwintas at saka ditong mga aritis nila. So yung lalaki din is nakasuot pa rin ng bahag, wala rin pinagkaiba. At nakasuot na dito siya ng kanyang damit, meron na silang damit, pero old picture na naman pala ito. So for the number 5, the Payo tribes is yung dito sa left side naman is yung lalaki at saka yung babae is nakasuot ng kulay blue, at saka mayroon silang parang linagay dito sa kanilang head. Makikita natin kulay blue, pati rin dun sa babae is nalagyan din siya ng kulay blue, at mayroon siyang parang kwintas na parang mga accessories na nakalagay sa kanyang liog. And for sa kanya naman baba is may nakalagay na yung isa is parang malong lamang na kulay blue na nilagay dito sa kanyang baba, at saka yung sa boys is meron na siyang parang mataas na yung kanyang bahag. Kung makikita natin, hindi na masyado klaro o nakikita masyado yung sa kanyang part ng kanyang harapan. So ganun pa din, wala siyang sinilas, nakapaa lamang, at saka dito naman sa right side picture is nakabahag pa rin yung mga boys at nakasuot na ng kulay red yung isa. Then yung iba naman, yung apat, yung girls at saka ditong boys is kulay blue na silang lahat. Okay, for the number 6 is the Buntoks tribes. So for the Buntoks tribes, kung makikita natin dito sa left side pictures, nakahubad lahat. wala silang up, tanging yung down lamang nila is bahag lang talaga. At nakapaa lamang, wala talaga silang kasuotan guys. At dito sa right side picture naman is yung mga babae nila is parang may similarities lang kasi dito is mga Igorots, ito yung anim na tribe na ito is puro sila mga Igorots, so meron talagang pagkakapari-pariho ng kanilang mga kasuotan. Okay, makikita natin. So okay, let's proceed. So these mountain tribes are those homogeneous groups who share sociocultural traits for the most part. Their lives are lived in their villages situated next to their rice fields. They share common religious beliefs, generally animistic, and make offerings to household gods called Anitos, in the course of which dancing occurs. So kung makikita natin yan yung example ng mga Anitos na yung mga sinasamba nila nitong mga itong mga mountain tribes ng mga ito. Yan yung kanilang marami ng ginatuuhan nila, yung sinasamba nila, yung parang god na nila. Yan. Okay, some indigenous rituals in the Philippines. In the Philippines, there are more or less 175 ethno-linguistic groups. Each of them has its own form of indigenous rituals characteristic as animistic collective referred to as Bathalism. So may pagkanya-kanya sila, yung 175 o more or less 175 ethno-linguistic is meron silang iba-iba ng pagsamba or how the paano nila ginagawa or paano sila nagsasamba yan sa kanilang mga bathala. Since these ethno-linguistic groups speaks different languages, they also use different terms to describe their religious beliefs, rituals, and practices. So itong mga ethno-linguistic nito is meron silang talagang, yes, totoo naman, meron silang pagkakaiba-iba ng mga lingwahe and the different terms to describe the religious beliefs. So, para ma-describe kung ano talaga sila is yung mga, for example, yung mga lingwahe nila, yon. And yung mga rituals nila, yon. Yun yung di natin masasabi na, uy, parehas sila. Sa pagkakaiba lamang or pag-perform nila ng mga rituals nila, dun sila nagkakaiba-iba. Okay, in Bukidnon, the indigenous tribes have the Hinaklaran festival and the ritual of the Three Dato. In the Hinaklaran, chanting and dancing around the altar are performed by women. The women dance the dugso while the baylan dance the chanting. So yung babae is sinasayaw niya is dugso and yung babaylan na tawag sa kanila, baylan kasi yan is sumasayaw ng chanting. Yung parang sasalita yung parang nagtutok siya ng kahit ano, for example yung ganun, something like that, chanting, hindi pala yun sumasayaw, nagsasalita pala siya. So okay, let's proceed to the pinauban ritual of the Tinguens of Abra is in worship of their Anito and their great god Kabunian. They believe that the spirit of Kabunian once entered the stones. The male participants spray the diyam or dimdimi and make the pig cry for the gods to hear, while the women dance around and sing salidumay. When illness threatened the life of Tinguens, they observe another rituals known as Bawi. In these rituals of the Apayaws, the female Mandadawak exchange verbal chants, take up large curbs, and heed axes and sprinkle the sick with water. So, parang yung paggagamot na nito. In driving away the evil spirits that cause sickness, the Itas of Zambales observe the Anituan, where the shaman and the relatives of the sick person surrounded him or her. So, pinapalibutan siya. If the treats failed, they talk with the spirits. So, kapag daw na-failed, yung paggawa nila is nakipag-usap na lang sila sa mga espiritu, appeasing them with gifts and foods. So, parang sinasabihan nila na magbibigay na lang sila ng parang halad, yung something like halad, so or mga regalo ibibigay dun sa espiritu na yon. So the ritual is declared effective when the red cloth is pulled away. So kapag daw naging epektibo yung pagre-ritual nila is kinukuha na yung red cloth, pulled away, kinukuha na. So everyone will then join in the celebratory dance of shuffling, walks, shaking, and skipping around. So lahat na nandyan is talagang gagawin or perform na celebratory dance. So gagawa sila ng mga sayaw na parang shuffling walks or shaking, parang ganon. It depends na sa kanila kung ano yung gagamitin nila sa kanilang pag-perform ng kanilang mga rituals na. Okay, so the Mandayas of Davao believe that the descendant from the top, union of the sun and moon, they hold various rituals as ways of courting the favors of environment spirits. So the Bagobos, also of Davao, are deeply religious people. They believe in Pamolak Manobo, who, according to them, created the heaven and the earth and molded the first man named Tuglay and the first woman named Togliboy. Rituals rule their daily life, such as the observance of Jinom before the ritual. In observance of the ritual, they are dressed colorfully in their tie-dyed tinalak clothes and adorn themselves with elaborate ornaments. So the Bogobos healing ritual has the female bailan officiating before a tall altar with incense. She dabs with the blood of the sacrificial chicken the body of the sick person, flicks a red cloth or scarf to appeal to the gods to give vigor to the patient. It is followed by dancing, which the patient himself joins as a cleansing exercise to restore his vitality. So in Rizal, Mountain Province, the natives observe the ritual bignas to appease the spirit whenever they will have festivities during the ritual. The men folk gather in Dapay, a social center of the Bisaos, where they held most of their meetings and rituals are done. From the Dapay, they proceed to the nearby mountaintop to awaken the spirits by hitting the bolos on their shields. This step is called Kayaw. So, from the Dapay, nag-proceed sila to the mountain, so pinakataas na mountain para gisingin yung spirits. So, para magising yung spirit is kinakailangan nilang i-hit yung kanilang mga shields. Yung kanilang ginagamit na shields, i-hit nila yon. So after doing the reading, the man folk would go down the mountain chanting to the gods. So nakikipag-usap na sa mga gods, so yung kanilang paniniwala. So at the end of the ritual, the residents gather at the Dapay to receive offerings from the women folk and to butcher another sacrificial animal, so tinatad na this time adobe. So yung ganun ng mga time na, yung sa the last time is yung aso na. Yung ibinibigay nila na animal yung kinukuha nila para sacrifice. So the Ifugaos, referred to as children of the earth, have unique rituals for every milestone in their lives. During the harvesting, much feasting, drinking, and singing of the hudhud or the Ifugaos traditions epics are done. When the harvest is over, a thanksgiving feast to honor gods is held. Rice, wine, fowl, and rice cakes are offered to the gods. So yun yung ino-offered ng mga Ifugaos. So during the Tungo, occasions for at-home days of the Ifugaos, nobody is allowed to leave their homes, and everyone is restricted from carrying out household chores. Tonga is also declared after thunder is heard by the village after a long dry spell as a sign of respect to the thunder deity Amikdol, who announces the pouring of heavy rain. Ganon, paniniwala nila. So another age-old ritual of the Ifugao is Among. This is done when a child is born, especially if he or she is a firstborn. So, yun, ginagamit nila. This is sacrificial ritual organized by the family within the first 5 days after the birth of the child. So, ginagawa nila ito for the first 5 days bago uh, matao yung kanilang anak. So, when an explained illness befalls an Ifugao, they attribute it to evil spirits and dead ancestors. The sacrificial rites are carried out in the event the illness persists even after the sacrificial offering was done. A Kitima, a woman the Ifugaos believe to be possessed of spirit who can identify the cause of illness is summoned by the family of the sick person. If the cause of the illness is an evil spirit, as determined by the Kitima, she will perform the ayag. This is the rituals that calls back the person's spirits. It is believed that an angry spirit takes revenge on a person by pulling out his spirit from his body. Okay? Thank you for listening. God bless us all.